Yeah, it was a long process.
Mm-hmm.
So my kids were raised a certain way. They were raised a certain way. It was two completely different households, and when you bring them together, the majority of the issues will stem from parenting differences.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mrs. Ruckus and I struggled with that for a long time. Our relationship was great, but how we parented was different. And my stepson, my older stepson, wasn't ADHD, but he is like major OCD,
Mm-hmm.
and so that it was a whole entire thing within itself, like next level OCD, and it took time. It took time to figure out what the happy medium was, and then as they got older, it became a thing where we all bonded.
Yeah.
My third son, I would say, is one of the closest ones to Mrs. Ruckus, his stepmom, and her oldest son is fairly close to me now. Like we go to concerts and stuff, and we talk about music and everything like that, and we bond over Starset.
Have
um,
you had an injustice for all moment for them, where like, hey, we're gonna go
yes,
horseback riding, and then
we actually, Mrs. Ruckus and I actually took them all to see Breaking Benjamin one night. So,
awesome.
and they were completely blown away, and Breaking Benjamin was amazing. And it just so happened that the lead singer from Starset showed up that night, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's and those things again, those are going to be lifelong processes. You just have to find the happy medium and have common ground and always communicate.
Yeah, communication, and not just, I think, especially with relationships, but in general. And I feel like, our society, we need to do a lot more of that. Would you agree that, like, you get more out of talking and getting to know people rather than just being stuck in your own echo chamber?
Absolutely, and I wish that I had that that trait and that quality when I was younger,
Hmm.
uh, because it probably would have helped a lot sooner. And communication is always going to be key. And we're in a society now where everything is closed off. Everything is on the phone. Everything is on an
Oh
iPad or on
yeah.
a computer, and you know you have a just people develop a distorted sense of what reality is, and you have to venture outside of that and have human interconnection and contact, and for it to be effective.
It's vital, and I think a lot of, I've seen that today's generation of kids, they're pretty much being raised. They can type great like this, but they're almost like they're having trouble. Like that line between online and reality is starting to get really blurred. And I know, you're actually now congratulations, you're a grandfather, right? Congratulations,
7 times over. I got seven
7 times
grandbabies.
over. Awesome, awesome. Well, you look great for a grandpa. For
Thank
Grandpa
you, man.
Ruckus. It's awesome. How do you notice anything like that with your grandkids, and like what kind of restrictions do they have with regards to social media, or is it kind of like, you know is it more about communication with them as well?
So all of my grandbabies are extremely young. My oldest granddaughter is 7 years old.
Oh, okay.
My oldest son has four. He has four of the seven, and he and his wife are amazing parents. They're firm, but they're fair, and they have limitations, and they're extremely involved in everything that they do. Um, and just seeing how my oldest one, I say that he's the most sensible out of the entire group, because especially with mine, my kids are a feral bunch. Like that's very lightly, that's a light way to put it. Like they're a feral bunch, and
they're a
they
ruckus.
yeah, they raised their ruckus throughout the town of Hopewell, Virginia over the years. And even now my younger brother is a teacher at one of the elementary schools. Oh, you're Rivera. Yeah, yeah, you're Rivera. So but yeah, they my oldest son has a great head on his shoulders. He and his wife, high school sweethearts. They are a perfect match for each other, and they really devote themselves to raising their children. So, with them being the older ones in the group, um, they're very straightforward with them. They have their play time, but then they have their work time, and they have their activities, and then they have their rest periods. So I don't get in the middle of how any of them parent. I always kind of just sit back and watch. The rest of them are all babies. But if they ever come to me or if they ever need to come to Mrs. Rukus, we're always here. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I've never been one to overstep. I just kind of have to let, and I like being pop, where I show up, I give out toys and I get to play and then I get to leave,
Oh, have fun, everybody.
Yeah. So I had my time raising kids. I'm not doing that again. So.
Well, that's what grandparents are all about. See, that you go through all the struggles of being a parent, but when you get to be grandpa, then you get to spoil them rotten and then just leave. It's like, well, y'all have fun. We'll see you later.
Oh, and when they act out and I see them getting all upset and everything, and I laugh at them for getting in trouble, and then I laugh at the parents because now they know what I had to deal with.
Hey, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I wonder where that got where they got that from. Exactly. Catch new episodes of Mental Health Mondays every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Start your week off with a smile and some inspiration.